We welcome you back this afternoon in New York. I'm joined by veteran journalist Mo Mosheh Oinounou, who is the former executive producer of CBS Evening News and now has a digital news outfit called Mo News, aptly named. And we thank you for coming in today. I know you've spoken a lot about how events like this are covered, how the media covers them. And, you know, in real time, talking to our correspondent there in Jerusalem, speaking to the IDF, there's a lot of information going around right now about this hospital explosion. What would you say about how people should digest this?
Well, you know, one of the things that we should keep in mind here is this is one of the, first major wars we're seeing play out in the social media era. We certainly saw it with Ukraine and Russia. And sometimes confirmation doesn't travel as fast as the first tweet, as the first Instagram post. And I think there's a tendency by people, they want certainty immediately. I hear it from people on social media, from a lot of Americans who are watching this play out, being like, all right, who are the good guys? Who are the bad guys? I want simplicity here. And this is not a black and white situation.
So if you were the executive producer of the CBS Evening News, and you had information like this, you would have, I assume, just a whole process of looking over how do we verify it. We have correspondents and producers and a whole team on the ground. We have to double and triple check. But to your point now, and you're living in this digital world yourself, the information is out there, whether it's true or not, and people make that assumption. So how do you navigate it now that you've kind of transferred over to doing it in podcasts and everything else?
Well, I took for granted being in the CBS Evening News. It's a half-hour show at night. We have all day to confirm this stuff.
Right.
You live here. I live in social media on the 24/7 era. So, ultimately, what do you have? Well, in the Gaza Strip, all information typically flows through Hamas, right? They're the governing authority there. Well, you take that with a few grains of salt, if not, a whole pile, right? At the same time, Israel has its goals. It has its, spokespeople who are coming up with stuff. And ultimately, I think it's important to hear what the sides are saying and then ultimately go through it being like, well, who does this benefit? Who does this hurt? One of the things that struck me when it came to this hospital attack, Biden's set to go to Israel to show his alliance with Netanyahu. The last thing Israel would want is to strike a hospital with a bunch of civilians. So as you're running the column down, I think it's important for people to say, okay, who does this benefit? Who does this hurt? And be able to just take that pause, which is so difficult these days.
And that said, as much as just about the entire world looks at what happened to Israel as a horrible attack, terrorist attack on October 7th, there are now strikes happening in Gaza, and this one doesn't look like it's one of them, that are harming civilians. So how do you cover that? And also put it in the proper context, do you think?
I think it's a lot. I mean, we're dealing with a fire hose of information. We're dealing with terrible images. Ultimately, in war, the civilians are the ones who suffer the most.
And it's tough to get, I've mentioned this a couple times, but I think it's important. It's tough to get Western journalists in Gaza reporting. Tons of them on the Israeli side doing tremendous reporting, but not as many in Gaza. So
because you're also dealing with Hamas censors, right?
Course.
Access is controlled by that authority. So ultimately that is a challenge in getting reliable information. Certainly you see the pictures coming in, you see the videos coming in. I think it's incumbent upon all of us as journalists to do what we can in terms of confirmation, but the expectation from the audience has to be pause. Whose agendas does this serve? Incidentally, as we talk about Gaza, the reports of the casualties, immense. There's no nuance, there's no distinction between Hamas fighters and terrorists and civilians. So you see this huge number, and you're looking for a breakdown. Ultimately, who provides that? Hamas. So I think, what's important is finding reliable sources on the ground, and there's certainly a lot of citizen journalists in Gaza who are putting stuff up on social media, and, we've started to build a dialogue with some of those people.
Do people, generally speaking, I think I know the answer to this, unfortunately it's probably no, but do people trust this information that they're getting as they watch coverage of things like this? I know in general the trust for the media, for better or worse, and there are a lot of reasons for it, is way down. What about now when something serious like this happens and you have people that have been doing it for years and years that go to the region and they're doing some tremendous journalistic work to try to bear witness to things like we're watching on screen right now? Are people, do you think, trusting what they're seeing?
I think generally speaking, the American people don't trust what they see, right? That's why they go to alternate sources. It's actually, one of the reasons that some of us in social media have benefited is the lack of trust, the drop in trust for the mainstream media. So people are seeking alternate sources. But what that has meant is there's a level of skepticism where everything is questioned. Everything has a conspiracy behind it. And so, a lot of what we try to do is knock down some of those conspiracy theories. But, people rightfully, they've lost trust in government, they've lost trust in and they've lost trust in the media.
Is that what you try to do, though? So, it's the last point. We're just running out of time anyway. But Mo News that you started is that's part of the purpose.
Yeah, people can head over to Mo News on Instagram. We have a daily podcast as well. But the purpose is to explain what's going on, try to do it in a nonpartisan way,
right?
And try to just be transparent with the audience. Sometimes we don't have certainty, and sometimes you do need to be patient. Sometimes it's going to take out. In the case of the Israelis, it took them more than an hour and a half to confirm Islamic Jihad. Well, look how fast the information moved, right? Abbas is canceling a meeting with Biden. People are hitting. Thousands of people have hit the streets of the West Bank, and sometimes things have moved beyond ascertaining facts. So that's something we're trying to do every day.
All right, thanks for coming in today, Moshe. It was nice to meet you, and appreciate it very much.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider, and don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.